Welcome back to the Midnight Gospel, where we fall asleep into dreaming of being there in our favorite Bible stories. Tonight, we begin with the quiet story of Joseph of Arimathea, a man with careful hands from the Gospel accounts, preparing a place of rest in the dark hush between days. These aren't sermons. They're stories retold slowly to help your body rest and your soul come home back to God. Everything here moves gently. Picture lamplight, soft on stone walls, the scent of clean linen folded again and again. Two men move with unhurried duty. There's no hurry, only the steady sound of cloth and quiet breath. In this work, nothing is rushed. The world outside goes on, but you're inside now, a simple room held by dimness, where even the smallest act, setting down a bowl of spices, matters more than it seems. Joseph did his task without noise, not to be noticed, but because it was right. Night air carries no speeches, only the small, honest sounds of the day closing, the roll of a stone, the whisper of sand under sandals, the cool touch of a wall at your back. He asked for nothing and still felt full. It's easy to miss what's sacred in the quiet, but here, in this hush, you might find something deeper than words. Maybe you're folding laundry or lying still in your bed. We are sharing silence with Joseph, keeping watch as one day slips quietly into the next. No one noticed the prayer, but it was heard. This video was made to help you drift to sleep while drawing near to something holy. Even if you fall asleep before the end, the story will keep walking with you. You don't have to listen closely. Just let it settle into your breath sometimes. You can hear the morning before you really notice the light. It comes soft, like a hand smoothing the linen across your shoulders. There is no rush, only the way the world begins to stir quietly before the work of the day. In Jerusalem, before anyone else moves, the sound is the gentle hush of breathing. The stone walls hold the cool from the night. My eyes rest in the half-dark. I wait in a stillness that feels almost like prayer. I am Joseph, just a man who tries not to wake too soon, but who rises because the day is gentle. My blanket, woven by hands I love, is light but sturdy. I fold it carefully. The corners line up slow and square, not because anyone is watching, but because something about the order of it feels safe. Linen slides across linen. I touch the weave between my fingers. It's soft but not new, familiar in a way that comforts sore shoulders, carrying yesterday's scent of spices and the faintest dust of stone. Outside, a dove coos, not too loud, just enough to remind me that time moves even when I am not moving. I take another breath. I stretch my toes, then my legs. Nothing in my body has to hurry. The bones know the cool stone floor, the chill rising through my soles as I sit, just for a while, on the edge of sleep. There is a bowl beside my bed. It's not much, just water from the well, colder at this hour, reflecting what little light creeps in under the shutters. I dip my hands in slowly. The water is quiet. My knuckles ache, but the ache is honest. I splash my face, careful not to spill a drop. The water dries on my cheeks by itself. Still, the city keeps its hush. No carts rattling on the street, no traders calling their wares, not yet. I listen to the silence. Even this silence is holy. My fingers smooth the folds of my tunic. I stand not because I'm needed, but because the day, quiet as it is, asks nothing more of me. The sun waits behind the roofs. For now, I stand in a gentle gray that holds everything in promise. Let this moment stretch. I press my hand against the cold wall, just feeling the stone. No one notices. No one is watching. But I do it still, like a small act of settling back into my own skin. There's nothing to say. No blessing, no scripture just yet. Only air, stone, linen, and the slow, steady rising of another day that belongs to God. No one else is here. No footsteps. No voices. The city will wake, but not yet. The hush lingers, sweet as bread left to rise. The body stirs with the light, but the soul gets to rest quietly a little longer, here in the softness before morning truly comes. Let every breath fall deeper into stillness. Let the slow rising be enough. Even now, especially now, God is near. The house is quiet this evening. The lamp oil burns low, making shadows drift along the kitchen wall. My hands find comfort in daily work, folding a linen cloth, smoothing it across the table where the air is thick with gentle heat. Every time I lift the wooden lid from the basket, the dough inside breathes out its quiet promise. Warmth is coming, the oven's glow is steady, nothing rushes, not even the light. There is a stack of firewood by the door, each stick placed there earlier in the afternoon, with care, not out of duty alone, but because I knew what night would need. I gather the flat dough, lay it on my palm. My thumb presses the edge, light, slow, steady. The scent of olive oil lingers, richer tonight. It soaks the cloth, seeps into my skin. The smell calls back other evenings, other tables, but it's the same warmth every time, a promise that stillness will hold. Bread rises gently near the clay oven, as if it, too, is taking slow breaths. Every now and then, a soft bubble forms, a little lift from the heat, but nothing urgent. Even the fire gives off only enough glow to reach my elbows, nothing more. I rest my hand near the warmth. It wraps around my knuckles, soft, constant, not asking anything in return. The smell of bread grows. It doesn't fill the room so much as invite it to hush. I hear the faint click of the oven stone, a quiet rhythm. Someone, somewhere, might be praying over their meal, but I just listen to the fire, to the silence that sits with me. Let this moment stretch. I pour olive oil from a small jug. It makes a low sound against the clay bowl. I dip torn bread in slowly, letting the oil soak through. It's not feast or celebration, just bread and oil, like a gentle friend who never hurries me. It tastes warm. Even before I eat, I know it brings comfort I can't explain. The lamp flickers. Shadows move again. The smell of baking wraps around me, again and again, soft and real. 1,000 loaves, 1,000 evenings, but this piece is never used up. My friend sits across the table. We speak little, barely more than a nod, an exhale. Most of night's work is silent, so we honor the quiet, trusting it to fill what words would clutter. The bowl of water nearby holds our reflections, blurred and gentle. Washing flour from my hands, I watch circles ripple outward. I study the way my skin loosens, unwinds under warm water. The world outside is cold, but in here warmth has its own kind of strength. The bread moves from oven stone to basket. I fold another piece of linen over it to keep the heat close. Again, oil. Again, the smell. There is a rhythm. One loaf, then another, resting beneath layers of cloth. Nothing else to do now but wait for the last bread to finish. Let the pause linger. Sometimes I remember old stories, but mostly I just sit and breathe. The air is fragrant and whole. No lesson, no hurry. just the weight of a finished day resting with me. Every night has its own silence. This one wraps me in the simple truth of bread, warmth, and staying near until the lamps burn out. Even this silence is holy. The night listens with you some evenings. The city hushes itself before I even notice. Tonight, Jerusalem feels emptied out. The world is closed up in houses and every word has quieted. My sandals lift and fall on the old stones, quiet as a breath, and there's a pattern in it I could almost forget. Step, dust lifts, step again. The same dust settles, only to rise with the next foot. Every street, every moment just repeats its own soft rhythm. Nothing here calls for hurry. I move like water, guided more by habit than hope. There are jars left outside each home, waiting for morning or maybe a friend. I nod at the empty doorways, though no one is there tonight. The walls know my passing. I see where the lime has flaked off, some places smooth, some cracked deep from older summers. Shadows lean long against the stones. If you watch them long enough, they almost seem to breathe. I watch them now because there is nothing urgent to do or say. Sandals, dust, and stone. The city holds the warmth of the day beneath my feet, giving it back to the night in small, patient breaths. The alleys all know this walk, this slow, mindful pacing through the dim. Sometimes step, pause, just to listen to the air. Sometimes an old dog stirs, shakes, settles back down. I do the same. This is what holiness feels like when nothing happens. The world just allows itself to rest, and I walk inside that rest, folding myself in every plain thing I can see. The sound of my steps, almost the same with each block. My fingers drag against the wall sometimes, tracing the roughness, just to feel connected to something older than me. Lamps flicker deep behind closed windows. Somewhere, someone pours water slowly from a jar. Their night is patient, too. I choose to admire the shapes of the clay, round and steady, set down beside doors with a purpose I never need to know. Step, pause, step. Every moment repeating, asked for nothing, gave itself back to dust and hush. At a corner wall, I stop. The moon carves a thin edge along the stones, light making the shadows stretch even more, thin, gentle fingers almost touching the ground. I breathe here. Let this moment stretch, my chest rises, falls. Even this silence is holy in the stillness. It seems like the whole city listens with me. I hear the memory of my mother's hands folding cloth in the dusk, the way my father looked at the street before closing up the shop, making sure the road was empty and safe. That safety is here, under this sky, this moonlight, these dust-soft steps. Nothing to gather or fix tonight. I move forward with slow feet. My ankles remember every uneven cobblestone, and each crack is just another line in a long story told without words. Slowly I become a part of the streets waiting, each step a heartbeat, each pause a prayer no one hears but it is heard. There's comfort in the repetition. It does not ask for my attention, just lets me exist. Walk a while. Listen to the quiet, the ordinary sound of life after doorways close. The holy monotony of dust, feet, shadow, stone, one small life, passing in the echo of God's patient peace. I could walk this way forever, forgetting sorrow, carrying only the hush with me, and something in me trusts the night will hold it all until morning. Clay jars wait for me near the doorway of the tomb, lined up in a row. They almost look like sleepy children with their heavy mouths lolling open. I run my hand along the first one. It's cool and rough. The pottery scrapes lightly against my skin. There's a soft sound, like dust being brushed from a table. I lift the jar, feeling its weight settle into my arms. It's heavier than I remember. My palms press the gritty ridges, and I pause a moment to breathe out. The jar sits against my hip. For a second, nothing moves except my chest rising and falling, just my own body, a clay vessel carrying water for what needs to come. There's no hurry. The night is quiet. I let the stillness draw me in, like stepping under a wool blanket. Each step toward the well is slow, steady. Stones crunch gently under my sandals. Every footfall is a prayer whispered under my breath, nothing anyone would notice but still heard by someone. The clay scrapes softly as I lower the jar beside the well. A single trickle of water drips from its rim, tapping out a patient, private rhythm. It echoes inside the empty spaces. My hands trace the smooth, cold mouth of the vessel, fingertips wet from the last drop. The rope creaks as I lower the bucket into the well. Down below, water talks quietly to stone. I listen to the bucket strike home. The splash is small, gentle, a note in the hush. Drawing the water, I move slowly, arm after arm, bringing it up. I let the ache in my shoulders deepen. There's something sacred in letting work take time, in not rushing the simple things. Water slides into the jar with a soft, glugging sound. It smells like stone and earth. For a long moment I just breathe, watching the jar drink in the water. I let it fill, steady and sure, patient as a friend's trust. The air is damp and cool. My breath curls in the lamplight. It's quiet enough to count each drip, each scrape, each gust in and out of my chest. I set the jar down gently on the stone, as if it were something breakable, a small act of care. The base scrapes low and hollow. I rest a hand there, counting the way it hums under my palm. I take the jar up again, one at a time, moving them from well to tomb. The rhythm never changes: lift, walk, rest, fill. Let this moment stretch out, slow and long. Even this silence is holy. Between each trip, I pause beside the door. Lamplight spills out across the sand. It catches the shape of my breath, wrapping the hush in gold. Around me, the world is at rest. The donkey sighs and shakes itself in the dark. Somewhere far away, a dog barks once, then the quiet returns. Time softens. The water jars line up beside me, each heavy and full. Their sides look almost silver in the lamplight. My hands are tired but steady. I listen for any sign of the others, nothing but the slow, even sound of someone's breath. In this work, there's no need to speak. There's just the careful strength of lifting and pouring, and the sound the water makes in the clay, a small, faithful promise. He asked for nothing and still felt full. God is never far from the small labors that fill a night. That's why I watch the water spill, drip by patient drip, onto the stones, each drop sinking into the quiet. Most people sleep while work like this gets done. They don't see the steady hands, the slow arm lifting, the jar scraping stone, all the breath let out at the end of a careful job. But I am here, awake for it, trusted with stillness, trusted to carry and not spill. I finish my task quietly and let the silence do its work. Let it settle into your breath tonight. There are no lessons here, just clay, water, and the mystery of how rest comes after patience. The Lord is close even when no one's watching, even in the slow movement from well to tomb, and in the gentle rhythm of a tired man's hands preparing for something holy. You can sleep, safe in the hush between drips and breaths and the sound of a jar settling, once again, in its place. It was nearly sunset when I reached the narrow path behind my neighbor's house. The sky was a soft yellow, quiet as old linen, folded and set aside for later. I carried my basket, not heavy, just figs gathered in the slow afternoon. My hands knew their shape without looking. The doorway was open as it is most evenings, and Reuben knelt just inside, sorting his own figs. He looked up and saw me but didn't say a thing. Some days the world feels full of words. Not tonight. He only nodded slow, as if to say, I see you in the hush. We arranged our fruit. The dust from the baskets floated and settled, gentle as sleep. I watched his hand, moving each fig from pile to pile. Nothing hurried. The movement itself was the whole conversation. You don't have to talk a blessing for it to settle in the bones. Sometimes it is enough to work in good company, even if the company is silence. The evening cooled against the stone. Lamps stayed unlit, saving oil. Presence didn't need more than the space between. Somewhere beyond the wall, a child laughed, and a woman called out a name that wasn't mine. It passed like a moth across our quiet work, not disturbing it, not changing its shape. Even the birds knew not to sing just now. Even the donkeys were lying down. Let this moment stretch. It does no harm to let the dusk go on, doing nothing, with someone nearby who asks nothing of you. We stacked the figs, then just sat, two men with nothing left to sort, no tasks to invent to avoid the long pause. The peace between us felt deep, not important, not precious, just true, like the sun setting behind the roofline every evening since I was a boy. He asked for nothing and still felt full. I did not search my pockets for words or explanations. I let boredom be a holy guest. The night listened with us. A breeze moved in from the olives, barely stirring the lamp's unlit wick. I watched Reuben close his eyes for a moment, resting his forehead in his palm. Then he sighed. Not tired, just finished. We nodded again. One goodbye, unspoken but clear as bread on a table. I stood, brushed the dust from my knees, and turned for home. The figs would still taste sweet tomorrow. Even this silence is holy. And as the sky deepened into blue, I didn't hurry. God moves slowly, too. We are always seen, even when nothing is said. The sun reaches higher. I feel it in my ribs, in the back of my neck. The stone warms. The linen gathers little flecks of dust where my hands have smoothed it over and over. The city outside the tomb is quiet, swallowed by the weight of the heat. Even the birds hush. Shadows pool like water, every corner shaped to cool what can't bear the midday. I squat by the edge where the fig branch dips. It throws its speckled shade in restless patches. The bowl of my hand rests against stone. For a moment I do nothing. The work is not finished, not yet, but I do nothing. I just look at the shadow and let my breath go slow and limp, letting tiredness seep through my skin like the warmth itself. For a moment I don't count cloth. I don't think of spices or the small, careful folding. I listen to the hush, the outside world muffled, the whole street stopped mid-breath. Time stops here under this quiet. I watch dust float, lazy and weightless. I let stillness come again and again. Stillness is different each time. It stretches, covering worry, pressing soft against everything loud. I don't hurry. There's nowhere to go, nothing I must say. I lean back beside the stone and the fig's shade leans with me. I notice how it shifts as the sun climbs, how everything alive finds a way to rest, to pause. Stillness returns, thick around my shoulders. Even the air grows heavier but not unkind. The silence becomes a sort of friend. I close my eyes just for a moment and listen for God's quietness, not in a voice, just in the remembering that I am here, held by the same sun, watched by the same presence. Every part of this pause is allowed. Nothing pushes. Everything waits. The cloth sits in my lap, cool now. My fingers forget their task, just holding the edge, smoothing a wrinkle, then letting it wrinkle again. The stone holds my weight. Shade holds my body. This is the slowest hour. I breathe with the rhythm of the quiet. A fig leaf trembles in the same breeze that moves my simple robe. Stillness knots itself into every moment again and again above me. The sun blinks between leaves. Shadows shift. I let myself listen to nothing, then listen again. The world does not mind the waiting. The fig tree stands still, patient as anything. I reach for the bowl of spices, then pause, letting my hand rest there. Even my breath slows, almost stopping. Sacred pause, a holy boredom, shadows curling up and over the work, making every swatch of time a place to rest. Let this moment stretch. Even this silence is holy. I could let the whole day pass like this, moving nowhere, not thinking of before or after. The work will wait. Kindness is here in the hush. The midday breathes with me. God's shade is enough now. The stone, the fig, the hush, the cloth, a single waiting bowl, all wrapped in stillness, shadows deepening, and me, small and safe in this resting time. The night listens with you. Even the silence is not empty. All is still, and I am here, held in the quiet pause as the shadows linger and the sun keeps moving slowly across the fig leaves, and I rest again and again. There is an art to quiet work, especially at night. I've learned this, not from teachers, but from long years in dim lamps, folding cloth when others have gone to bed. The door shuts softly behind us, and the world outside fades to just the echo of evening sandals. It's only me and one steady friend now, our hands slow with the gentle tasks we were always meant to do. I do not hurry it, because the air somehow tells me not to. A low little table waits in the corner. I like how its shape keeps us close, our shoulders sometimes brushing. I set the first bowl down, just clay, rough around the rim, holding the day's warmth like a sleeping animal. My companion does not speak. There is no need. We move as though we have always known what comes next. One jar, myrrh. Its scent slips out, not sharp but soft, like old figs split after sunset. I tip a bit into the waiting bowl, watching the powder settle, dim and brown. My friend takes the next jar, aloes. The air thickens but never grows heavy. It just lingers, a whisper of trees and a reminder that life was once green. I find myself breathing with the rhythm of it all. Each bowl is another quiet gesture. Here a pinch, there the turn of a wrist. Not one movement is wasted. I line them up, careful and square, as if the angles might matter to the sleeping world, or maybe just to me. Let this moment stretch. The linen waits, folded 3 times. The corners are even but not pressed. Nothing stiff, nothing proud. The tools, small knives, a wooden spoon, a cloth ribbon, rest at the edge of the light circle. They are work-worn, honest, made for service, not story. My companion hums a little under his breath, maybe a tune from home, or maybe it's nothing at all. The bowls seem glad for the company. When I touch each one, I think of the hands before me and the ones who will never be known, all those quiet helpers the world forgets. Outside, a dog barks and is answered by silence. I hear the rustle of a broom on the street, and the sound slips into the room, fills the space between us, and then is gone. The lamps flicker. We work on. Even this silence is holy. I pass a strip of linen to my friend. He wraps it around his fingers, smoothing it gently. He's not thinking of the hours, only of making something right as possible under these stars. I measure more spice, spill a little onto the table. No one scolds. I brush it up slowly, letting my palm learn the grit and balm of myrrh and aloes. It's easy to forget sorrow in this work, not because it's unimportant, but because the care becomes its own kind of prayer. The air is awake with something old, something peaceful, the promise that finishing quiet work is enough to please God. Let the night listen with you, everything softens. The world does not demand brave speeches, only the patience to measure, fold, and wait for dawn. I reach for the last bowl. My fingers smell of earth and wood and a sweetness that's hard to name. My friend meets my eyes just briefly, and we both nod as if to say, yes, it is good. This is holy too. We will finish when we finish. There is no alarm waiting, no one counting the time. I line up the bowls. Each one is ready, steady, but humble. They hold what little we can offer, a faint perfume for the one we loved. He asked for nothing and still felt full. As the oil lamp grows low, the room settles. Dust drifts down, slow and silver. The spices linger, never loud, just steady reminders that this night is kind and God is near. You start to notice the wall before you even look at it. It's there, around you, cool against the back of your hand. The light from the oil lamp flattens its shadows. The stone's face is rough where it's been chiseled, but in some places the years have worn it smoother. Your fingertips drift across it while you steady yourself, crouched above the linen. The weight of the wall is comforting, unmoving, letting your breath match the stillness. Every little sound feels softer inside these walls. The bowl that brushes the ground, a rustle of fabric folding over itself. Each step you and Nicodemus take seems to echo a little, then fade. The walls don't mind. They carry the hush and bounce quiet back to you, gentle, not startling, like old hands cupped around the shape of the night. You pause, listening to the lamp as its flame shifts. It's not loud here, but it isn't empty, either. The walls gather what you give them, even a whisper or the scrape of a sandal. If you set something down, your hand slowed, careful not to hurry the hush away. Let this moment linger. Stone doesn't hurry. It keeps its own pace. Sometimes in the middle of folding linen, you notice how the air inside the tomb feels thick, like dusk pressed flat between heavy doors. You let the slowness settle in your bones. Your shoulder rests against the wall for a moment longer than needed. It keeps you somehow. No one speaks much. That's all right. Your voices don't need to fill the space. The work is enough. Nicodemus is near. You can hear him breathe just on the other side of the chamber. Sometimes cough a little. Sometimes shift as he pours out more spices. His motions are soft, quick to return to quiet when they finish. You pass him a strip of linen, your hands meeting for a second. The fabric muffles your fingers. After, only the lamp makes its small, living sound. You notice the pattern of the wall, the way small shells are buried in the layers, old as anything you've held. You run a thumb over a rough bit, it snags a thread on your skin. Down at the floor, the stone stays cold. It's never known the sunlight. You don't mind. It's like standing inside a memory, the sort that asks nothing and fills the room with gentle presence. Sometimes you catch yourself resting your bare palm on the wall just to feel how steady it is, how little it asks. The weight behind it, earth pressed hard, time pressed longer. You never worry about these walls falling. Their job is to hold. All your work is quiet, swaddling, smoothing, settling linen around stillness. When a bowl tips, the tiniest sound bounces around the stone until it fades into nothing. You work slower, remembering that the night answers just by being itself. There are no sharp noises. Even your heartbeat seems to soften here. Even this silence is company. Let the hush settle inside you. Let the night be gentle. The stone listens as you breathe in, then out. If anyone watched from outside, they'd see nothing but darkness. But to you, inside, the night feels full. The walls don't forget. They will keep what you do, the care you give, the slow unrolling of linen. What happens here lingers quietly in the shapes of stone. You notice, after a while, that the wall is neither warm nor truly cold, but a living middle. It keeps no secrets. When your shoulders ache, you lean back and let the heaviness of stone carry you, only for a breath or two. You think of every time you leaned against a wall as a child, wanting only not to be alone. The tomb is quiet in that same familiar way. Not empty, just steady, just company you can feel. Let this moment stretch. Sometimes your thoughts wander and you remember old stories, children's laughter in the market, your mother singing while she dusted out the corners of the house. Her walls listened too. They kept the warmth, the laughter, the quiet. You're grateful for the sameness of stone meeting stone, as if the night remembers every life tucked away inside its time. No one looks for comfort. You ask for nothing and still feel full. You finish folding a strip of cloth, laying it in place. You smooth it, slow as prayer. Nobody notices. The walls do. Every little act of gentleness is gathered, held for the silence. Nicodemus moves past you, careful not to brush your shoulder. He sets a basket down. It sounds a little heavier than before. Even the heavy things find rest here. You reach out, steady the basket, and feel the stone at your back. You trust it will not move. You trust the night to hold you. You trust the silence to keep company until morning. Let the quiet keep watch. Let God meet you, hidden in the hush. The night listens with you, references. John 19:38-42. I press the rim of the bowl to the stone and feel the thick hush settle, the kind that stretches around two men at work. The lamplight makes my own hands look older. We do not speak much. Our voices might break the steady air. The linen lies folded in my arms. I smooth it out with a slow, careful sweep, as if running my hand through a field of soft grass at dusk. I let my breath pour out in the same lazy rhythm, in and out. The cloth smells faintly of sun. I wait for it to settle, to show its natural shape. Each crease was put there by someone else, a woman at the market, a servant, maybe just a fold in a quiet basket. I do not hurry. I touch one edge as you would touch a lamp's flame, gently, not to disturb it. Another breath, long and quiet. Let this moment stretch without need or reason. Even this silence is holy. I fold one corner over, slow as tide water on flat rocks. My lungs follow the pace, soft in, softer out. I lay it down across the stone. No one rushes this. The air is thick but patient. With each crease I pause and let my fingers rest there, a way of saying a prayer that needs no words. I notice how ordinary the linen is. Plain, clean, just enough. Maybe a miracle is just something handled with care and nothing else. My body settles with the fabric. I let a long breath fade as the linen does. He asked for nothing and still felt full. There is no hurry left inside me. I smooth another fold, let it ripple, then settle. Time goes soft. Each movement is smaller than the last, but somehow more steady. The night listens with you. I tuck the cloth, first one side, then the next. My breathing slows. The world grows gentle when your hands match the pace of your heart. My thumbs follow the grain, as if drawing quiet lines in sand. Let this moment stretch. The bowl by my elbow holds only broken time and my silent reflection. Linen against stone, skin against sleep, prayer hidden in every slow press. Even the folds are tired tonight and glad for it. No one notices this prayer, but it is heard. Even when the lamp gutters, even as my hands start to ache with stillness, I let the last corner settle and pause. I breathe out warmth over the finished shroud. The work is not grand, but it is good. I trust the night to hold this quiet miracle. My hands rest, empty and blessed. Breath out, breath in, God is near. The cloth is still. The lamplight flickered against the limestone wall, softer now, so far from the noise of the city. I pressed linen to the table, smoothing the cloth along the grain. Nicodemus was near, not saying anything. He rolled the last of the myrrh between his palms, careful to keep it from spilling. We moved slow. There was no reason to hurry. Each of us found our rhythm with the other, like neighbors mending a fence in late afternoon. No one needed to speak. Still, I knew where his next hand would reach, how he would lift the edge of the shroud just before I did. Just two men finishing a quiet task. The scrape of bowl on stone, a gentle sigh as we paused to check the folds. Even the air felt sacred now, like God was listening to the work itself. Let this moment stretch out. No words to fill the space, only the sound of cloth settling and our feet shifting on the packed earth. Sometimes he'd hand me the jar, and our eyes would meet, steady and understanding. It was enough. Lantern shadows lengthened. For a while we worked side by side, slow as midnight rain. Nicodemus handed me the strips of linen, never rushing, gentle, careful with the duties that mattered most. We weren't afraid of the quiet. The night became its own companion, soft and patient. We let the silence hold us, let the dust settle around our sandals. Even this silence is holy. A bowl rested at my feet now, filled with leftover aloe. We would tidy up soon enough. For now the hush was heavy and kind, a cloak around our shoulders. I leaned against the wall for a moment and felt the weight of the day slide away. No one asked for thanks. This was the kind of work that asked for nothing and still felt full. The tomb felt unchanged, yet different. It breathed with something gentle, neither grief nor pride, just the steady comfort of duty shared. Sometimes the truest friendship is someone nearby, helping until the lamp grows dim, needing nothing more than to know you aren't alone. Let your thoughts wander here. Let the quiet companionship of this night join your breath, the way steady hands and silent hearts make a different kind of prayer. We set down the last jar. We sat not to speak, but only to share in the finished stillness, trusting as the night trusts the dawn. God's nearness is easiest to feel when nothing demands to be said. The night listens with you, the softness of evening settles along the stones. Joseph rests his back against the heavy gate, palms wrapped around the edges of rough wood. He lets himself pause. One small bird is calling from near the orchard. Another answers farther down, softer. He breathes in again, once more. The air is mild, cool now, sweet from the fig leaves crowding near the stone road. Lanterns are going out, one by one. The voices of the day wash away with them. He doesn't hurry his breathing. When he closes his eyes, each breath feels shaped and finished. He lets his hand trace the old lines of the gate, nicks from old deliveries, names cut there by children long grown. He listens, not for answers, just for company. The bowl of spices still rests beside him, cooled but waiting. Some linen folded in neat squares is tucked by his side. He could go back in, but the night is so quiet, steady. Another deep breath. A last bird calls low just twice, then is gone. This might be the best moment to remember for no reason at all, just the way the wood feels solid behind him, the dusk humming. Joseph listens to his own heartbeat for a while, a steady sound no one else can hear. He asked for nothing and still felt full. He gathers the linen slowly. The folds are soft, already holding the warmth from his lap. He stands, turns toward the house. He walks slowly, one step at a time, stopping to look at the silver of the moon caught in the well water. He prays the way he might exhale. Lord, make this night quiet. Hold every breath until morning. Thank you for a place to rest, simple as this. I trust you to finish what I can't see. He places the folded linen on its shelf. He washes his hands in the lantern's hush. The final act for the day is only closing his eyes. By the open window he lets the night air in. Stillness holds me, the Lord knows my breath, I am not forgotten. God walks slowly, too, grace is here. Mercy covers me. This night is safe. Amen, amen, amen. I sat down, letting my body sink into the cool stone. The lamplight was soft on the rough table, shadows long, trembling just a little. There were just three things set before me: a small pile of olives, a round loaf of bread, still warm from its wrapping, and a clay cup filled with water drawn from the jug outside. Nothing for show, nothing extra. No need for words either. I reached for the bread. The crust gave a gentle crackle, dusting a few crumbs onto my sleeve. I pulled it apart, slow. My fingers pressed into the gold just enough to warm them. The bread tore open, not in one quick motion but by small, slow stretches, the way linen will give beneath careful hands. The sound was quiet, just a low sigh, not meant for anyone but God. I let a piece rest in my palm. The surface rough, a little chewy between the teeth. I chewed slow, letting the morsel soften, letting its earthiness fill my mouth. Chewed again, waiting for the bread to grow gentle, and swallowed when it was just part of me now. The world did not hurry. I reached for an olive, rolled it between my fingers, feeling the skin, slick with oil. Bit softly. Its bitterness came first, sharp at the back of my tongue, before the salt and the quiet heat reached me. I paused, holding it in my teeth for a breath. Another chew. Quiet. The flavors settled. No one spoke. I did not need to speak either. Around me, only the settling of dust, the simple sound of someone adjusting their feet, the hush of evening pressing in at the shutters. I swallowed, felt the olive's taste move down, slow as dusk. One more. There was always enough when there was no hurry. Bread again, pulled, not cut. Each time the tearing was new. Sometimes the loaf was so warm inside, it seemed to breathe in my hands. I gave thanks in the silence, just a thought, set down in the slow movement of chewing and swallowing and breathing. Thank you, Lord, for simple things, for this ordinary meal that holds the day like a folded blanket. A sip of water after, cool and almost sweet, as if it remembered the stone it ran over this morning. One mouthful at a time. A pause to hold it, a gentle swallow. I felt it pass into my chest, slow, an answer to thirst, no rush. The others sat with me, eating the same way. We shared this rhythm all without a word, no feast. Not even much to call a meal, but still we sat together, breathing in the same quiet, glad not to be alone, glad for bread made with hands and olives gathered by neighbors and water drawn at dusk. It was enough, more than enough. I let my shoulders drop. Sometimes the appetite is simple. Eat until you are just a shade more than hungry. Drink until your mouth is just cool. Sit until the quiet begins to fill you and the world grows softer at the edges. We finished after a long while. There was a comfort in these gestures, a torn piece of bread, another olive, another soft mouthful. The gentle meeting of food and body, the way chewing slows the heart, the way night seems to wait just beyond the walls. No prayers, at least, not the kind with words. Just the breath, the slow lifting and falling, the giving thanks without saying anything. I felt God was near. Or maybe just now enough. There are spaces in the world that feel patient. Stone remembers longer than any living thing, and this tomb is such a place. Tonight, the air is cool as I slip inside. It's quiet, a hush so deep you could lay your worries down and not hear them fall. My hands run along the walls, rough and cold. The stone gives nothing back. I set the lamp down, gentle, small circle of light. Shadows rest in the corners. Nothing to disturb. I hold my breath and listen to the drip of water somewhere unseen, to my own shoes brushing grit on the floor. They told me leaping hearts and rushing footsteps were holy. But this is another kind of sacred, the silence of something waiting. I sweep the floor again, though it looks clean already. More a rhythm than a need. There are pebbles in every line, bits of earth left from the cutting, all settled now. The broom bristles make a soft, steady sound like the rise and fall of slow breathing, safe beside the wall. Cabinets at home, busy hands and voices, it's all far away. No market noise, no children running. Just me and the cool stone being shaped by waiting. I touch the rock because it is here, not because it calls. How simple a thing to be this steady, to hold space for whatever comes. The stone is unmoved by time, by sound, even by grief. It offers a place, not an answer, just a kindness. We dressed the ledge at dusk, Nicodemus and I. He pressed cloth into my hand and I folded it, setting it on the cold shelf. Our voices stayed low, not because we grieved, but because the quiet wanted its way. There is an emptiness in this place, yes, but it does not ache. The tomb waits, patient as earth before a season. It expects nothing, but still opens itself, wide enough for holiness. I set out the last bowl of spices. My hands move slow, careful not to spill. Lamplight makes soft glimmers on the jars and clay jugs. They will sit here undisturbed, maybe for years. I have no fear of that. Let time wander. Stone is not sorrow, not an end, not heavy. It is an embrace with no pressure. The walls do not hold in but cradle. If breath passes here, it will not echo as a cry but as a sigh, released into something vaster than me. There's still a little dust on my sleeve. Every task is finished, and nothing has really changed except that the space is ready now. Ready for what? I'm not certain. Ready to be filled. Maybe with silence, maybe with peace, maybe, if God wills, with something past understanding. I lean against the wall and close my eyes. The stone does not mind. It has held the sun's heat by day and lets it go at night. It will never hurry, never worry. The Lord made it so, long ago. Someone hewed these walls, chiseled inch by inch. I wonder if they felt peace, cutting into Earth's heart, knowing this room would one day be needed but not yet. Did they pause when the light got low, dust on their hands, thinking only of the smoothness of rock, not the story to come? We are always preparing, sweeping, folding, making things ready. Even when we do not know what we're getting ready for, I remember a story from my father, how he'd mend a fence, not for any sheep present, but for the hope some might pass by. Waiting but not watching the gate, just preparing, letting the emptiness mean that something good could arrive. The tomb is like that, no purpose forced onto it, no sorrow thick in the air. Just the piece of stone being itself, holding space, doing what it was made to do, making rest possible. I draw my fingers over the spare linen, folded at the corner. Its weight is nothing. Heavier burdens have come through these doors, heavier hearts, but they are all lightened here. Even my own seems smaller, calmed by the cool presence. I step back into the cool, letting the dark wrap me. The stone will keep its vigil. It asks for nothing and still feels full. I walk home by the lamp's weak light, slow, next to the olive trees. The night is thick but not empty. There is room for God to come and go as he pleases. No one sees me sweep the floor or fold the cloth or lift the dust from the smooth ledge. But the Lord knows. Even the smallest act can be kindness when patience is the only thing left. In the stone's eternal patience I find rest, not in endings or heaviness, just in the readiness, the waiting. Let even this be enough. Let every emptiness cradle a coming dawn. The lamps are dim, and the air inside the tomb is quiet. Tonight there is no rush. There is only the shape of my own hands, moving slowly under the oil-soft light. A bowl of ointment rests against my thumb, the clay cool and honest. I lean close, careful not to spill. Breathing in, I let the scent rise up, a sweetness of myrrh, sharp and low and something like earth after rain. The oil stirs round and round in circles that match the quiet inside my chest. Nicodemus is near, folding a length of linen back on itself. He does not speak. The quiet is welcome. We take turns with the bowls, and with each breath we pass the slow work between us. The oils are thick, catching the lamplight as they move. I use a wooden stick, not hurried, just turning the mixture in small circles, patient and even, like the way we walk beside the grave at dusk. I watch the ripples spread from the center of the bowl. They travel out, then fall back, then out again. Never in a hurry, never uncertain, just going where the movement leads. It is nothing special, but it is everything too. A deep, old patience lives in the way the oil returns again and again to itself. That steadiness fills me until my shoulders begin to drop and my hands find their own rhythm. My fingers linger on the rim of the clay, feeling each bump and plain spot. Someone shaped this bowl by hand, probably just outside the city where the dust is softest. I think of their hands doing gentle work in the quiet, pressing, turning, smoothing until the circle is true. A steady, slow patience. Time passes without hurry. No one here is counting. The lamp makes one small shadow that circles the walls. Nicodemus places a new strip of linen beside me. I press my thumb into the oil, a cool, silent weight, and begin to move in rings around the fabric, letting the oils find their way into the weave. Round and round, smooth and slow. It feels like smoothing a bedsheet or winding a cord, only softer. I don't think of why, just how. The movement is enough. It's a kind of trusting the night, letting it hold every small thing that needs doing. You can hear our breathing soft, unhurried. Oil stirs, dust settles, linen waits. Every soft circle of the oils is a reminder to let go, to trust that all is cared for. There are no big prayers tonight, just small circles. Hands moving in faithful rhythm. The oils understand even if no one else does. Sometimes the lamp flickers and the dark pulls closer. I pause to watch how the light shivers over the oil's surface. It makes a tiny glinting ring, then breaks apart as the bowl tips slightly in my hand. I wait for the rhythm to return. Slowly I begin again. Round and round. It's never quite perfect, but it's always enough. Nicodemus wipes his brow, rolls the next strip. He does not look tired. His hands move with the same patience, a faith that nothing sacred is ever rushed. I remember my mother's hands folding dough at first light, making circles on the floured board, speaking little. Night and day pass like this in old patterns, slow and good. I circle the oils again, not for any reason except it is what is needed tonight. The bowl grows warmer in my hand as the oil moves. There is a soft sound each time the stick touches clay, a familiar hush. Everything in this room has a part, the oils, the cloth, the hands, and the silence itself. I place the bowl down, watch it settle, then begin again. There's something safe about the repetition, how it asks for nothing and fills the air with peace. Even the oil, once wild and sharp, becomes gentle in the circle's care. The task waits for me to keep going, but I do not hurry. Sacred things do not hurry. Sometimes I close my eyes and match my breath to the slow circles, in and out, in and out. Like the movement of water on a quiet shore, the sound lulls my thoughts into stillness. Nothing here asks for more than just being present. God walks through these small duties unseen but never far away. No one will remember how patient we were with the oils or how careful our hands were. But the peace finds its way into every corner quietly. Even in the places no one looks, tender work becomes its own rest. Linen waits for us. Night wraps around us. The lamps grow tired, and so do we, but there is no impatience. The last of the oil finds its home in the cloth. My hands pause on the pottery, grateful for its plainness, its ordinary beauty. Nothing is left undone. The circles grow soft and fade away. The heavy air is filled with sleepiness, trust, and the soft hush of hands finishing their work. God was here quietly all along. Even the smallest task, done with patient care, carries a kind of blessing. And as I set the bowls aside, watching the oils settle, I know this day, these circles, will hold through the night. The story finishes with a breath, round and round until everything is held, nothing hurried, nothing missed, only peace settling in like oil in the folds of linen. Shadows have grown longer. I see them touching the tips of rocks and stretching over the path, quiet, slow. My sandals brush the ground with each careful step. The dust does not rise quickly. It lifts and falls back again, gentle as a tired sigh. The road behind me is marked with the light footsteps of the day, worn smooth by my going and coming, by the small errands that carried me from sun to shade and back again. The bowls, the linen, the simple tools I brought are tucked away now. On the edge of this quiet place, everything is softer, even the sounds. A child laughs inside a nearby home, but the noise doesn't carry far. It floats, drifts, and then is swallowed by the hush slipping over the city. I notice how the streets seem emptier, and how the sweep of light fades a little more with every blink. People finish their last chores with slow hands. A door closes. Another breeze stirs the thin leaves. In the distance, someone is folding breadcloth for the night. It could be me or anyone passing through. There's a comfort in knowing even our smallest motions are seen by God, even when no one else is listening. Every footfall now feels heavier, real, like the world is telling us it is time to begin the slowing down. I nod to an old merchant as he gathers up his figs. He doesn't hurry. We both know the day is finished whether we rush or wait. The dust curls at his feet, tracing shapes in the gold light. All of us carry the day home with us in different ways. There is a quiet pride in the work done, in the little things brushed aside, in the weight carried and let go. The jars settled, the lamp trimmed. Each movement flows into a pause. Each pause sinks into a silence that hangs over everything. I let my hand rest on the stone wall, feeling the warmth it held from the afternoon sun. It cools so slowly. Time moves differently when you let it. Even the birds in the olive tree know to quiet now. Their wings fold, their small songs grow faint against the hush that is gathering. Once the city was noisy with the business of the afternoon, traders shouting, animals shifting, neighbors talking. Now there's just space. I breathe in what's left of the sunlight, letting the gold turn to gray inside my chest. The air feels gentle, not heavy with sorrow, just tired in a holy way. The world getting ready to be still. On the walk back through the alleyways, I match my steps to the rhythm of this settling in. Lanterns begin to glow, bobbing softly behind shutters. A cup is set down. A cloak is folded at the door. All around me, the noise has shrunk to almost nothing. Even my own movements feel smaller, necessary, but less urgent. I feel watched over, as if the silent God is near, making room for every breath. Let this moment stretch out. You don't need to fill it. Even the silence is a kind of prayer. Even my tired body, pacing home at the end of labor, is met by stillness on purpose. Someone smooths the ground outside their door, pushing away footprints from the day. Another draws water, but she does not speak. There is no need for words now, with the night drawing in and the last traces of gold leaving the stones. At my feet, I see the path grown softer, more forgiving. My sandals scuff little clouds, but the peace is undisturbed. Behind me, the tomb is ready, wrapped in care and quiet attention, but I do not look back. Everything that needed doing has been done. The rest is for God. The city holds its breath. The night listens with me. I am not alone. All of us, in our quiet ways, are walking toward something bigger than ourselves, softly, slowly, letting the last movements of the day become rest. There is always the soft weight of linen, waiting for hands to make small order out of the day. The cloth sits quiet in the late light, pale, gentle, smelling of olive oil and dust. I take the first tunic and hold it up, let it hang for a breath. No rush. My thumbs smooth the collar flat. The edges line up the way water pools along a stone. Fold once, fold again. Press along the seam. I watch my hands move as if they have always known how. The calluses catch at a thread. I smooth it down. Stack the tunic with care atop the others, fabric resting on fabric, a silent mound growing by the hearth. I reach for the next. Lift. Lay it across my knees, shaking out the sleep from yesterday. The air is cool in this dim room. Folds gather, gentle and right. I press the cloth slow, tuck the sleeves under. Fold, once fold again, set down. It's mostly quiet except for the sound of linen shifting against itself and the hush of lamplight on the floor. Let this moment stretch, let the stillness linger. Even this silence is holy. I think of the others who have worn these tunics, how every hem remembers its owner. Some stains from figs, a dab of wax, a line of old dye faded by sun. It doesn't matter, pressed smooth, every cloth finds its shape again. My hands repeat the motion. Fold, press, set down, gentle, simple. A tiny prayer in each motion, spoken not with words but with the way the cloth is cared for. Stack grows. Time moves slow here, the walls holding up sky and quiet. When order is made from the heap, the room sighs in relief. A day's work doesn't have to be loud to matter. Hands serve, fabric serves, the peace of the task covers everything like a soft blanket pulled up at night. I reach for the last tunic, take time, smooth it flat, feel the weave on my palm, fold once, fold again, press, set down. Each act against the small chaos of the day, each act just enough. Rest comes with completion, in things put right and left ready for tomorrow. The lamp is still burning. The world is not waiting for any grand thing tonight. So I rest here beside the folded stack, and let the order hold me safe as sleep. Let every quiet motion drift with you now, slow and patient into the night. The Lord is near, even in these smallest things. Let the silence do its work. Let this ordinary night be enough. Sometimes, after the day's work is done, I find myself walking just to walk. Tonight, I reach the city's edge with nothing to carry except the ache in my feet. There's a long stone wall, and shadows beside it, and beyond, the hint of orchard trees I know by their shape, even in the dimming light. A little farther, voices drift in and out. It's not close, not meant for me. I hear them like water running through a far channel. There's laughter somewhere, or maybe just talk, stories passing hands, not sticking, not asking for me to claim them. The words blur with the breeze, I let them come and go. This evening I don't try to listen for sense, I just listen for sound. The way voices fold into dusk, soft edges, nothing sharp. I lean against the cool stone wall, letting the voices turn into something like the coo of doves, the sweep of a broom from another courtyard. Calm noise. I don't know what is spoken. I don't need to. There are times for understanding. But tonight I'm not searching for answers, not asking for teaching. I only let the world hum. It settles my shoulders, makes the day soften inside me where usually so much presses for my attention. Now only echoes. Someone is explaining something, maybe about God, or maybe about olives or taxes or the price of clay lamps this week. The details don't reach me and it's all right. The night lets everything blur and this too is prayer. I am here, surrounded by quiet things. Even a lesson can become gentle if I stay at a distance. I remember being younger, wanting to memorize every word from every passing rabbi, straining to make sense of it. Now, it feels safe to let the world teach what it will, and for me to rest at the edge. The truth comes even without straining for it, I think. Maybe truth can arrive in silence just as much as in words. I press my palm flat against the wall, feeling the stone still warm from the sun. This is enough to know. A hand on stone, the ache in my back, voices slipping into twilight. Even my own breath, rising and falling, belongs to the peace of this hour. There are other sounds. The cart wheels rattling far, a gate squeaking closed, a dog calling out. They all blend together into a kind of dark music. None of them are asking anything from me. I am here. The city is here. We share the evening without effort. I close my eyes for a moment, listening without needing anything more. The harder I try to pick out the teaching, the farther it drifts, so I stop chasing. The words flatten into the soft air, gentle noise for a gentle night. Sometimes someone says my name on nights like this, calling me to come home. But not tonight. No one needs me, not right now. I can listen until the city falls quiet. Even then, I am not alone. The hush is full and kind, like a robe laid across my shoulders. All the important things are being carried, even if I cannot hear them. That's enough. The edge of the city waits and the voices move on. I walk home slowly, still wrapped in those echoes, not understanding every word but settled by the sound. Let this moment stretch. Let even this silence be holy. After the work, the room begins to hush. Clay bowls stacked, linens folded back. The last bit of light slips through the stones. Everything softens at dusk, even the dust, it just settles and stays, wrapped around the ankles, quiet. I peel a fig. The skin gives easy between my fingers, purple and green. Sweetness seeps onto my thumb. My hands have the smell of it now, sticky, sweet, like honey left in the sun. Night is coming carefully. We sit near the wall, not moving much. My friend looks down at his lap, tired but still, shoulders sinking as the silence floats up. Sometimes quiet is a kindness all on its own. I tear the fig in two. Sticky threads stretch, slow and gentle, between the halves. Sweetness everywhere, a softness that won't leave the fingers. I hold out a piece. My friend's hand meets mine and the fingers touch, just for a second, slow, shared blessing. No one rushes. Everything is gentle, slow, very soft. The fig tastes cool, almost buttery, sweet as the day's end. We eat without talking, the stony room wrapping us close. Each bite is soft and simple, sticky, sweet, slow, nothing more needed. The world settles down around our shoulders. The fig is enough. We pass the bowl, a little oil, a little bread. Crumbs cling to our fingers, mix with the sweet stickiness from the fruit. There's something about the way food fills the dusk. It's easy to believe God is near when everything goes soft like this. My friend breaks off a piece of bread, dips it in the oil. He nods, just a small thanks. He asked for nothing and still felt full. Sweetness lingers. It settles in the mouth, curls up behind the teeth. The oil on the bread, the fig in the palm, the sticky fingers, all slow, all sacred. We pass water between us, hands sticky and sweet. No rush to wipe them clean. It matters to stay in this softness, to let the sweetness remain, to rest in it. The room is hushed but not empty. I think maybe the quiet itself is a blessing, God sitting beside us, gentle as bread, sweet as sleep. Sometimes the only prayer is a breath passed from hand to hand, sweet, soft, sticky, ordinary love. Let stillness stretch here. Let the sweetness last just a little longer. The night wraps us in its slow, sticky peace, and we rest full beneath a God who lingers as softly as sweetness on our hands. Night comes quietly to the edge of town. It brings a hush that settles on the stones and tucks itself into every corner of the tomb. Joseph walks a steady path in from the olive trees, his arms full of clean linen, his mind set on tasks that wait. The air cools as the sky lets go of the sun and dusk sits down beside him. On a small shelf inside there's a clay lamp. He checks the oil, slow and practiced. This is not the first lamp he's tended, nor will it be the last. His hands move with care, not hurry. A pinch of the wick, a tilt of the bowl, he strikes the flint. The first bit of flame is small, almost shy. He waits as if the fire just needs time to remember itself. When it settles, the lamp exhales, a soft light pouring out in a gentle breath. The flame fills the clay bowl with quiet warmth. It's patient, not bold. The flame stretches up, then sighs down, up, and down it moves like someone sleeping, inhaling, exhaling, never in a rush. Shadows wake on the walls, then lie down again each time the flame moves. Long shapes appear on the stone behind Joseph and then slip away as the light shifts. He watches them for a moment, just simple shadows, doing nothing but being there. The lamp is not just for seeing, it keeps company. It stands watch with him and Nicodemus. When hands pause to fold a new corner of the linen, the shadows grow and lean across the work like silent witnesses. Nothing interrupts. The silence has weight, but it's gentle, a soft blanket, not a burden. The lamp gives them permission to be slow. Nicodemus is here too, just there in the stillness. He says little, his words aren't needed. The two men move around each other easily as if sharing a kind of quiet language that only comes after sorrow or maybe peace. Oil in the lamp steadies the night. Their breathing matches the flame. Inhale, exhale. The same rhythm comes and goes across their faces and the walls. Joseph sets a bowl of spices down near the lamp. The clay warms in the glow, and for a moment the world shrinks to fit inside a small circle of light. Everything outside, the cold earth, the city's noise, the future, waits elsewhere. Here it is just hands and cloth, small movements, the sound of linen folding over itself. Each crease is pressed flat with a thumb. Each edge is made smooth. No one rushes. He thinks of tomorrow, of what might come. But the lamp does not hurry the night. When the flame leans, it draws the shadows longer, as if reaching for something but never quite touching. The stone underfoot is cool. There is a hint of resin in the air, something deep and warm. Joseph listens. The work becomes prayer, but not the kind that needs words, just quiet agreement with the dark, steady world. A moth taps gently at the lamp, then rests in the warmth. The shadows don't flinch. They absorb the flutter as another quiet part of the night's breathing. Inhale, exhale. The routine continues, untouched by what waits outside. Joseph's hands move, then stop, then move again. Each motion makes the oil lamp answer with ripples of light, never loud or busy, just there. He notices how cloth holds shape in this light. A fold looks deeper in the shadow. Fingers find the edge again, wrapping, tucking, smoothing. The lamp keeps its slow, even breath. No one speaks. No one asks. There is nothing left to do but care for what is right in front of them. When the oil runs low, Joseph lifts the lamp gently. He adds a steady trickle from a small jar. Nothing spills. The lamp drinks as much as it needs and no more. Shadows waver for a moment, a brief, quiet dance, then settle down again. The air shivers, then becomes still, as if the night itself sighs. Outside the tomb, a breeze moves the branches. Inside, all is held steady by the lamp. Joseph sits just for a moment, his back against the stone. The light covers his sandals. He rests his hands on his knees. The flame narrows, then widens, slow and peaceful as the midnight air. Each stretch and sigh makes the work inside feel softer. There is much that could trouble the mind tonight: questions, memories, fears. But the lamp holds nothing of that. Its only job is to keep the night gentle, to remind Joseph and Nicodemus that their hands still have purpose even as the world waits in silence outside. The lamp does not chase the dark away. It just joins it. It shares whatever time is given. Joseph knows this kind of company, the steady kind, the type that asks for nothing but stays until morning comes. By the door, the lamp's glow reaches the entrance. A thin strip of light stretches out toward the path, then draws back in again, like breath. When Joseph stands, his shadow stands up with him. When he sits, it folds beside him. The lamp has seen all it needs to see. It gives no judgment, no answer, just light enough to finish what must be done and nothing more. Nicodemus brings another bowl, more spices for the linens. The sounds are soft, cloth brushing against stone, clay against clay. The lamp answers each sound with a new flicker. The shadows move but do not resist. They welcome each change as if the night is listening too. Joseph sees fingerprints in the oil and does not wipe them away. They belong to this night, this work, this moment between the work and the dawn. Each mark is kept, not erased. The lamp seems to notice. Its flame nods in the small draught, never faltering, always returning. Time passes, but it does not hurry. The room holds its breath with the lamp. No miracle interrupts. No sign appears. Only the breath of the lamp, steady, safe, unfinished. The last bit of linen is folded. The bowls are stacked, waiting for morning. Joseph stands, then pauses to watch the lamp once more. The flame rests easy now, barely moving. The shadows short, then lie down altogether. He feels the night's blessing on his shoulders, not loud, not known, just there. The lamp asks nothing and gives light freely, and in this Joseph feels full. The work is enough. The silence is enough. The lamp waits by the door, holding the hush, stretching the breath of the night just a little farther, until all that's left is rest. Sometimes, when the night is nearly whole, you notice things that the day forgets. How the lamplight softens just enough to leave half the stone wall in shadow. How your feet find the cracks in the earth without thinking. How some sounds become gentler, almost careful, as if the darkness is a sleeping child. Tonight, that sound is the scribe. He isn't close, just near enough. Sitting bent over the low table, robe folded beneath him, lamp steady to his left. He hasn't looked up for a while. Not since the last bowl of water was set nearby. Not since the others shuffled outside for a cup of whatever was left. The scribe writes, not with a flourish but a hush. Ink drawn into a thin brush, then down, across, a pause, then another stroke. The rhythm easy, so quiet you almost forget it's there. Joseph watches his own hands folding linen. Even this is a conversation. Quiet work beside quieter work. The air carries the sharp, familiar scent of oil pressed from olives, the dry tickle of dust. In another part of the chamber, the ink bottle is uncorked and uncapped, a slow carefulness, like someone counting each breath so nothing spills. The scribe begins again. Dip, drag, lift. Each motion small and expected. The parchment is rough, but he smooths it with his palm. Sometimes he whispers a word under his breath, as if weighing it, as if listening for some old echo. Joseph lets the linen rest on his knees, fingers paused, letting the silence wrap them up tight. He has always trusted quiet men more than loud ones. He trusts this silence, too. Nobody here is hurrying. There's nowhere left to go tonight. The lanterns will burn out when they must. The ink will dry or not. Even the work that carries sadness in its bones, this, too, feels soft when the scribe's pen drifts through the hush. Joseph hears the faint scratch and thinks, I could listen to that sound until my eyes close. The scribe writes in long shapes. He stops and starts. His breath is a gossamer line, steady and slow. Joseph has never cared what is being written, only that it is happening, that someone is taking the time to remember. It is ordinary, these hours. The night does not ask for anything exquisite. There's dust under the benches, a folded tunic resting in a corner, a cup left too close to the flame. When Joseph shifts, the old reed mat sighs under him. It's astonishing how the simple things make a shelter. The scent of warming wool, the brush of linen against a wrist, a line of ink drawn sure as a lullaby. Every small sound stacks atop another until you can hardly tell what's separate. Dry breath, quiet work. The pen's lull, tapping out another breath, another piece. The scribe thinks no one notices, but Joseph sits in this hum, feels steadied by it all the same. Moonlight floats in from a slot in the wall, enough to mark the lines on the scribe's hand. The moon seems thin tonight, content to shade rather than dazzle. Joseph picks up another strip of linen, rubs the edge between his thumb and finger, checking for burrs that could scratch the skin. His hands are slow, sure. It is a way to pray without speaking. The scribe lifts his head, looks not at Joseph, but somewhere just beyond him, as if finding a place to set these words down, hoping they hold. The pen starts again, softer this time, almost a hum. Joseph was never one for writing, but the rhythm is ancient, like someone rocking a cradle far away. The heat from the lamp is small, but it belongs to them. Outside, the city is sleeping. Walls cooling, fires settling into embers. Someone's goat gives a muffled complaint in the alley, too tired to yell, too loyal to leave. Joseph lets the ordinary weight of night sit on his shoulders. He won't remember this story in the morning, not as anything grand or finished. He will remember the lull, the safe rhythm of two friends tending to something that matters only because it is being done at all. Not because anyone asked or would know, but because the night seemed to request it in a whisper. Even the dust has its own comfort. You can almost hear it settle when the pen lifts for the next dip. Joseph looks at his own knuckles, the way moonlight and firelight blur in the lines. Not all stories happen with miracles in the room. Most just borrow the quiet, fill it carefully, and try not to take more than they can give back. The scribe dips again, rolls his wrist, gold glinting on a cuff, catching the lamplight. Let it rest, Joseph thinks. He sets his folded cloth down, lets his hands find stillness the way the scribe's pen does. Somewhere outside, A breeze slips through a crack in the door, stirs the shallow bowls of spice. The air feels cool and scented. The scribe's work won't be finished tonight, but no one seems worried. Joseph listens for the last long line of ink, the soft hush as each word sets. Whatever record is being made here, it isn't for him to hold, but it is enough to have shared the hour. The steady, secret restfulness of something precious being remembered by someone else. Two kinds of faith, one folding, one writing, both taking shape in slow motion, both asking nothing and still feeling full. Even this, half-watched, half-forgotten, counts in the gentle mathematics of the kingdom. There is no last thing to say. Only the brush of linen, the scribe's lullaby-strange pen, and all the breath held together by the dark. Joseph lets the sound lead him not into sleep exactly, but a holding, full of trust for the one who stays up late to preserve what matters, and for the God who sees even this as good. The lamp is almost gone now, only a low flame born of habit and duty. You can hear it more than see it, a quiet breath against stone, a hush pressed into every shadowed line. Joseph moves to the far corner as if straightening a fold, nothing important. He rests there for a moment, knees meeting the cold earth, one hand steadying himself. No one has asked him for words tonight. The air is heavy with all that cannot be spoken. He lets silence do the work. The stone beneath him is rough, but alive in its way, ancient, ordinary stone that has seen many men come and go. Joseph finds that he is listening to it, as if the smallest sound might comfort him. But there's not much to hear now. Just a faint echo from across the city, and the slow, even breaths of his friend still folding linen in the other room. No prayers form in his mouth. None are needed. Here, in the hush between what happened and what will happen, Joseph finds that his heart is already known. He brings nothing new to God, only the soundless weight of tired bones, only the kindness of being present. Even that is enough. He closes his eyes for a moment and lets his shoulders fall. The lamp guttered once, pause stretching out longer than usual. Joseph does not rush himself. He makes room for God in the wordless space between heartbeats, between half-remembered psalms. Sometimes he gently inhales and lets the air stay in his chest for a while, as if stillness is itself a kind of offering. How much of prayer is simply being here? This quiet corner, the waiting stones, the careful hands. No words to clutter it. Stones and breath are prayer enough. Sometimes nothing is the truest prayer of all. He has seen men pray for healing and men pray for courage. He has seen men pray simply to sleep after a long day. Tonight Joseph lets his body kneel and his soul rest beside him. Nothing asked, nothing spoken. Just a stone, a breath, and the trust that God is listening, even when he makes no sound at all. His friend does not disturb him. There is a gentle understanding between those who serve quietly together. That silence is not emptiness, but sacred space shared. Even the shifting lamplight respects it, flickering softer, then steadying into calm. Joseph's knees begin to ache a little on the stone, but he does not mind. The ache belongs. The silence belongs. It reminds him of the goodness hidden in ordinary discomfort, and the way a holy moment can arrive without effort, a slow, small arrival almost missed. He draws no attention to himself. No one will remember this kneeling but him, maybe, and maybe God. It is enough. The prayer happened. The night received it. The stones remember. Eventually, Joseph rises slowly and with care. He leaves the corner as quietly as he arrived, knees stiff but spirit settled. The lamp's final light brushes his hand, not a sign, not a miracle, just a soft touch before rest. He asked for nothing and still felt full. No one noticed the prayer, but it was heard. The room falls silent again as Joseph tends to his final tasks, letting the stone and the silence finish the prayer. The lamp flickers against the cool stone. Joseph stands quietly, hands resting at his sides, feeling the simple quiet of a finished day. He takes the bowl of leftover spices, moving slowly, almost not to break the gentle hush that settled. He sets it down near the wall, in the same careful place he's always chosen for empty things, where nothing can spill or disturb the dust. His fingers brush the rim once, almost like a farewell. The linen that's left, neatly folded, is placed in the corner, crease over crease, every edge lined up just so. He folds and feels his shoulders lower with each motion. No one is watching, but still, the neatness matters. His friend lingers in the doorway, holding a lamp. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. There is a small sound as tools, a knife, a wooden pestle, are returned to their cloth bag. The bag leans against Joseph's foot for a while, as if neither wants to be the first to leave. It will be taken home, washed, set out to dry. But now it just waits. Joseph watches the flame. He checks the corners of the space one last time, not out of worry but habit. He smooths loose earth, presses a stone back into place with his palm. Every motion is slow, unrushed, the work of hands that trust there's no need to hurry. The night gives permission to let things rest. A faint smell of myrrh and stone lingers. The day's labor is done, but Joseph walks the room once more. He glances at the folded clothes, the clean edges, the bowl by the wall. He listens to the silence and feels for a moment that it is enough. There is nothing left to say. He looks at his friend, sharing a tired, simple nod. Lamps are dimmed. The doorway fills with shadows. They step out quietly, leaving only the softened sound of sandals on packed earth. Outside, the sky is deep blue, the air thick and still. Joseph breathes out, slow and easy, letting the chill settle around his shoulders. The hardest part, the waiting, the tending, the finishing, is behind him. He walks the path home with empty hands. Every little thing has been returned to its place, every corner checked, every bowl and cloth and tool seen and known. For a little while he stands with nothing to hold. He lets the world be quiet. Even in this small, hidden work at the very end of the day, Joseph feels the weight of presence. Not his own, but another's, calm, steady and warm as the night itself. He asks for nothing and still feels full. God walks quietly behind him even now, and Joseph walks on, listening, disappearing into the gentle dark. The door closes, and there is peace. Even in the empty spaces, the quiet settles all around me now. I'm standing at the edge of things, the stone rolled slow, the work finished. My hands are empty, just the cool feel of my palm resting over stone. Even the lamp has burned blue, wick low and soft. It's strange how quiet it is just after, the sort of night where the sky forgets to move. I shut the door to the tomb, careful as I can, listening for its gentle sound, a hush more than a thud. No one is waiting. There is no line of people, just me beneath the stars and Nicodemus's footprints already fading into dust behind him. I think about how this stone will always be heavier for me somehow. Each day brings more weight, but the night folds it all away. Bit by bit, the hill is empty, but I lean back on my heels, just breathing, just being still. Across the fields, night insects chirp, the olive trees fold into themselves. My robes brush dry grass. I close my eyes not to see, but to rest. The prayers tonight come slow, almost thoughtless. Just single lines that settle into the dark like small stones dropped into deep water. Lord, hold the ones I love. Stillness holds me. Keep watch as I let go. The Lord knows my breath. Let your kindness wait through the night. Stillness holds me. No voice answers, but that never worried me. I feel another line move through my heart, and I say it to the sky with all that gentle weight. Nothing is hidden from you. The Lord knows my breath. Stillness holds me. I lean my head back and listen for nothing. Sometimes I think the silence is the answer itself. The stars blink above the roof of this city, same as they always did. My feet are unhurried. My heart feels slow. There is time for one more prayer said without trying. You are here in all things. Stillness holds me. The Lord knows my breath. Amen. Stillness holds me. Amen. The Lord knows my breath. Stillness holds me. Just before I move away, I set my palm against the stone, the roughness and the cool, and let my whole weight rest. I don't hurry to leave. Stillness holds me. The Lord knows my breath. Amen. 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 The night holds every small thing now. My footsteps shuffle over grass, the lamp trembling in my hand. The city sleeps. The work is done. Nothing else is left to do except trust the slow, ordinary mercy of the dark. Stillness holds me. The Lord knows my breath. God is here. Always, stillness holds me. I let go. I rest now. And all around me the world softens until only the quiet remains.